liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative.
This line of argumentation is so damn old I had to go back to my old phone. Happy Black History Month. Conservatives, Malcolm X was not your ally. Any intelligent human being with half a brainstem listens to that quote and does not come to the conclusion, hey, maybe I should be a conservative. In case that wasn't clear enough, let's look at a similar quote from Malcolm X, where he quite clearly in no uncertain terms says that the white conservatives are not friends of the Negro either, but at least they don't try to hide it, unlike liberals, which is literally the exact same sentiment from the clip that you used. And newsflash, both you and this genius who blocked me like 2 years ago are conservative. So I respectfully ask, what the hell are you doing? Because if black people are being used as a tool in a political football game between white liberals and white conservatives, then you both are trying out for quarterback on a side where the only benefit is at least they don't hide their racism. But JJ, if he didn't agree with liberals or conservatives, who did he agree with? It's a good thing you asked me, because unlike both of you, I don't cherry pick arguments I know damn well I wouldn't agree with in order to suit some narrative. In that same clip, Malcolm X also says,
because they are ashamed of their race, because they are ashamed of being black and don't want to be identified with black, they're seeking to lose this black identity by mixing and mingling and intermarrying and integrating with the white society. Which is
him in no uncertain terms saying that black people who wanted to follow more of the MLK model of having a more integrated society and government-affirmed rights are ashamed of being black, want to forget that blackness and intermingle with white people. A viewpoint that you all would say is racist. He also in that same clip goes on to say,
and I can declare to you tonight and to the entire world that the man here in America who speaks for the majority, the downtrodden, dissatisfied black masses, is this same man who so many thousands of our people are flocking toward to see and hear. This same Mr. Muhammad, who is labeled by you as a black supremacist.
Mr. Muhammad being Elijah Muhammad, and if we take a look at what he believed, one of his teachings were that white people were devils specifically created to oppress the black race. As the leader of a movement that believed a lot in black nationalism, a lot of other ideals listed here, pause to read. So let's see here, not wanting to mix races, one particular race of people are, quote, devils, and a strong focus on having a separate black society, or ethno-state, if you will. What do those things remind you of? Once more, this core teaching that white people are devils sounds a lot like the stuff conservatives will blame the left for whenever they get up in antsy about critical race theory. Do I have many disagreements with Malcolm X? Yes, as I don't believe in glorifying historical figures. They're people too. Do I agree with him in some aspects? Yes. But do I cherry pick quotes and arguments from him knowing damn well that the thing he's arguing for is antithetical to every single thing I'd possibly believe in? Knowing damn well that if some black teen came on this app echoing the exact same sentiments, I'd be reading about how this is reverse racism? No, I don't. So before we use a quote of somebody to make an argument that we know damn well they disagree with, actually, how about don't?
So I've seen a couple comments like this, and we have no idea who this JJ guy is.
Oh, so you don't know me. Allow me to reintroduce myself.
And his whole video was banking on the idea that we somehow liked Malcolm X.
Happy Black History Month. Conservatives, Malcolm X was not your ally.
No, I guess this whole video is ruined now. If this kid would have paid more attention to the context of the video, he probably would have realized this.
And apparently I didn't understand the context of your video, but you decided to clip the intro to my video, say that that's what my entire argument hinged on, and then say no to debunk it. So go ahead and explain the context, and I'm about to make you look very stupid.
Clearly his context was wrong. So to put it into the actual context, in the audio, Malcolm X was describing specific ways or actions that white liberals do not help black people. And the reason why she was playing this audio is because a white liberal man was doing the exact things that Malcolm X was saying in his video. So it's not like she was trying to warn black people of people like him. She was just trying to show him directly that his actions and mentality of how he thinks he's helping black people, he's really not.
Your context seems to be missing a few pieces. What exact actions did Malcolm X describe that white liberals do that don't help black people? Well, I rewatched the clip and took some notes. Now, disregarding the hypocrisy that's inherent to being a conservative, taking a clip of somebody talking to make liberals look bad, when that same person in that clip and elsewhere is on record saying that conservatives are also not friends to black people, you using that clip of Malcolm X only makes sense at all if this white liberal man did any of these things on this list. So let's explain the context of that situation. You originally posted this video using the Malcolm X audio on January 27th. In this video, you add the liberal trucker, so I went to find out why you added him. Turns out on January 26th, he stitched a black guy who responded to one of his videos saying that nobody's being oppressed in the country. In a follow-up video on January 27th where he discusses the backlash he got from conservative TikTok for that video, he says in the comment section, I think I'll just start tagging all the conservatives that are flooding that original post, in which he tagged you. Your response was then this video that you posted that same day. Now, to bring it back to my list, did he in that original video that got him backlash do anything on this list? Give yourself 500 points if you said fuck no. Seeing as in this video, he's responding to a minority that says oppression doesn't exist by sarcastically saying, okay, go liberals, because because apparently we solved the oppression issue due to the fact that a handful of minorities outside of the millions in the country say that they don't feel oppressed. Is that posing as a friend or benefactor? Seeing as systemic discrimination against black people fucking exists, he's not posing as a friend, he's stating a fact. Did he engage in tokenism? No, and ironically, he's pointing out the tokenism that conservatives engage in the millisecond they find a minority that agrees with them. And obviously, he didn't do any of the last three. So why did you use that clip? Because you ducked the argument. Instead of accurately responding by proving oppression doesn't exist, you said, he's white and liberal. Malcolm X said something about white liberals one time. Hence why I pointed out that not only did Malcolm X completely disagree with the worldview you push, at that point in his life, he thought black nationalism, something that y'all hate, was the answer. So in conclusion, I'm JJ, and to answer your question, this is context.
Systemic racism and oppression are your theory to the statistical outcomes of black people.
Yet another pathetic response. 1, I see you unblocked me. 2, we'll come back to that theory point later.
My wife's video is just showing what Malcolm X thought of white liberals.
3, why? And it's funny how you go on to impugn my age, but I have to explain to you on an elementary level how to make an argument. The video your wife responded to was a guy saying the fact that a few minorities say that oppression doesn't exist doesn't take away from the fact that that oppression does exist. So the way to respond to that argument is to say, nope, oppression does not exist, and here's why. Instead, she responded with an audio of a civil rights activist saying that white liberals are deceitful and use black people as pawns, which wasn't a valid response for many reasons. A, was Malcolm X right about white liberals to a certain extent? Yes. But when a white liberal simply saying that oppression exists, a statement that he himself would also agree with, and a statement that's backed up in data, to use the word of Malcolm X to attempt to argue that point is nonsensical. And B, seeing as you and your wife are conservative content creators, when you're talking about how liberals don't help the black community, you are implicitly suggesting that your ideology does. Hence why your wife didn't include a caveat in her original video saying Malcolm X also warned us about white conservatives. 4, yes, you did say,
Even people we dislike or disagree with on most things can say some things that we agree with. That's not hard to comprehend. Well, not hard to comprehend unless you're kid JJ, apparently.
But question, what is the disagreement over? If you as a conservative want to prove that liberals aren't helping the black community, and to do this you use a quote from Malcolm X even though you disagree with him, it surely would directly contradict your argument and everything you stand for on the platform if he were to have also said that white conservatives are so blatantly not the friends of black people that it sends black people towards the liberals. If I were to say that the world is not round, and then you being a flat earth content creator stop me right there and go, look, everyone who thinks the world's round, he said it's not realizing that in the very next breath I said it's definitely not fucking flat either, your use of me to prove your point earlier would have been cherry picking and deliberately excluding the full context of my words in order to suit your narrative. You ducked the argument instead of accurately responding by proving oppression doesn't exist.
Shoot, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you wanted me to prove your theory of oppression wrong. It's not every day when a 17-year-old with a new iPhone.
I go back to my old phone.
Scratch that. 2 iPhones. Panders to millions of people online openly with almost 1 million followers about how oppressed he is.
And here we go. This is why I said we're gonna come back to that theory argument. Because outside of the multiple times you impugn my age, and you unironically asking how can I complain about oppression if I have 2 iPhones, and you saying that whatever systemic oppression does exist will just disappear if mothers with 4 children who collect $14,000 in tax returns just move, even though the median cost of housing in the US is almost $300,000. Your core problem is that you don't think that systemic oppression exists. So the problem that I have with liberals is even though the liberal trucker couldn't formulate what he was thinking, all you have to do is the research and you'll find that systemic oppression exists. But go ahead and talk about this iPhone for me.